Right, let's get started. Let it turn on. Should be working on YouTube. Good. That one. Hello. How is everybody doing? How's things? Hey. Yeah, I think that's that. Cool, sorted. I can leave this one there and be sensible and open Twitch and go to create a dashboard because it always messes up. So, hello people. How is everybody doing? How's your week been? How's things? Hello Mark. Hello Ryan. How you guys doing? I think I can leave that there for now. Sweet. Hello Jess. Hello DV Site. I think that's a cue. So hello. How you guys doing? How's things? Hey. Someone asked on Twitter, are links allowed? If you're watching, the answer is technically no, because YouTube won't let you. It depends what your issue is. Hello Tom, and hello Ryzen. How you guys doing? How's things? Trying to order a 6800 XT Red Devil, contacted CCL and OC UK, but nobody got it. However, 25 was the launch day. Ah, right. Yes. Yeah. So the if you thought that the Nvidia launch was more on paper than in practice, the AMD one, well, it just is even worse. The number of people, the number of like resellers who said they didn't get any was high. Yeah, I think 6 months from now, we'll see. But yeah. Hello, Gaming Fire. Hello, Stuart. I'm okay. Been busy this week, but getting by. Is going from 3000 megahertz CL 16 gig to 3600 megahertz 32 gig investments. Is that a good investment? So it depends what you do. If you're just gaming and you're not using more than 16 gigs of RAM, probably not. But if you're doing things that do require, thank you very much, Tom. 6 months already? Wow. Well, again, thank you very much. But yeah, so the question I would ask you is, how much RAM are you using? Are you using more than 16 gigs? If so, then yes. If you're getting to 95% utilization, go for it. Otherwise, probably not. Maybe. The issue I was talking about is possibly a hardware issue. Gotcha. So, can you give me a rough idea? I mean, if you want to tweet the paste bin that you were mentioning earlier, I can try and look at it, but no guarantees. What do you think about all the Twitch scandals coming to full light over the past weeks? The only Twitch scandal that I know of was the one that I got an email about, which is the DMCA takedown notices. They are, which honestly, the response that they had was, delete all of your VODs that may or may not include copyrighted content. And if you're playing a game that has copyrighted content in it, turn it off. And I'm like, so for context, I played back when GTA 5 first launched, so like 500 years ago now. I did a series of videos on this channel of GTA 5 campaign gameplay, and they're absolutely terrible. You know, this is not a recommendation, but what you call it, those videos have all been copyright not striked but claimed monetization wise because of the music that was on the radio in GTA 5 like 8 years ago. How am I meant to like if you're a Twitch creator and people are watching your VODs of you playing whatever game it is, or maybe you were doing like a tutorial and that's a VOD, and you know what, like the idea that it's your fault for just playing a game that happened to contain copyrighted content that you didn't know was copyrighted and is arguably fair use, but you have no choice but to be banned from possibly your main revenue source, or to delete what could be a significant, you know, view count type VOD on your channel, is just Agent B, hello. Ban seems a little harsh. Yeah, just a bit. Hello, James. Newegg in Canada and the US have a 9th gen Intel CPU on 20% sale. 9900K and a Z390 motherboard for $500 Canadian is tempting since it's in stock. Ah, yes. Stock. That's funny. Imagine thinking that products could be in stock. That's funny. Oh dear. So yeah, the 9900K is definitely not a bad chip, right? It is it's not as fast as say 12 core Ryzen, especially the 5950X. You might even have similar what you call it, I guess, performance with the 8 core as well, the 5800X, if not faster. But yeah, for what's in stock, for the discount that it's at, that's not too bad. Just be aware that there is no upgrade path for that setup. You will need to sell that motherboard and CPU on, or reuse it later and buy an entire set completely separately. Whereas if you bought Ryzen, say you bought a 3700X, for example, that chip and the probably 550 motherboard that you buy with it, that combination can be upgraded to 4th gen later when that's in stock, whereas that Intel one can't be directly. So as long as you're okay with that, it's still a fantastic chip. It still performs very well. It does run very hot, but you know what's new. So yeah, it's not bad. And I know that Canadian pricing is horrible, so fair play. Opinion on the new B550 Unify X. I haven't touched an MSI product in what was probably a bit more than 6 months now. So I can't tell you. I've not seen it. Hello, Simon. How you doing, man? How's Black Friday for you? Because I assume it's already started. What is stock? Huh. I uploaded a lap from my car's dash cam on the Nürburgring. Somebody copyright striked it at part of a car passing me. Within 2 days, I got like 10 subscribers. That's weird. Like, I guess the person whose car you drove past, you know, is like internet famous or something. But yeah, that's weird. Oh, so it's a dual boot question. So to make it clear, I am like that system behind me. If I have a stick, I'll throw at it. That I've literally just set that up with dual GPUs to do IOMMU pass through VFIO, like what you call it, multi OS, you know, virtualization, that kind of thing. Because I've got a monitor that has a KVM built in, and it's going to be pretty interesting. So that I've only just started with that. I also don't use Linux on a full-time basis. In fact, I do it very unregularly. So I'm not sure. Ba, 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 ba. So, other than I'm not too sure. Like, without going into great detail, I don't think this is something that I can help with too much. I'm afraid. Where am I? That one. Hello, Starman. You bought a PS5 and the OLED, the C55, DX55 OLED. Nice. That's awesome, man. I'm really glad that you're liking it. Did you? So I take it you've got your PS5 in, because I've heard that that was kind of rare. Will you bring the new Apple M1 MacBooks into review? So the short answer is, unless I got given one, no. I have no interest in buying Apple like OS X products because I don't use it, and so I have no level of experience or insight into what would make them useful to anyone but people who use them. So yeah, I also wouldn't be sampled one, so I'd have to spend my own money, and since I don't want the product, I would then have to sell it on, and it just wouldn't make for very good content, because I just sit there and go, CPU's kind of interesting, I hate the OS, doesn't work for me, I couldn't use this, I'm going back to a gaming laptop for half the price. You know, that doesn't make for like good or interesting content. Curry's was teasing me, said they had a RTX 3070 available, went to order it. Then they decided to say it wasn't available for delivery or collection, but it still shows available. Ah, the buggers. Still waiting for my 3080 aftertaste. Nice, fair. If I get a 6800 XT, you can test it. That could be fun, but I am hoping to get some cards. Whether I do or not is probably a better question. You got the PS5 from Amazon day one. Nice, that's awesome. I'm really glad you're able to enjoy it, man. Hello, Jim. Hello, Wes. What would you say the cheapest upgrade from a 1066 gig? I'm not sure if 1660 is worth the extra money. So honestly, I would go used market. You will get much better value for money than you will in the new market, and you'll be able to, like, it depends on how much money you're willing to spend, but if I remember rightly, 1080 Ti's are selling for like £300, maybe 350. So, you know, if you want to buy a 1080 or a 1070 Ti, you know, any of those cards, they're going to be plenty performant. Otherwise, you can also go Team Red, a 5600 XT or a 5700 XT are both great cards as well. Hello, Dante. How you doing, man? 1080 would be nice. Indeed, it's just whatever is available in the used market. I generally recommend. Mac or Linux? If I had to pick between the two, Linux, because it's way better. But I am a fan of the way that Windows, like, as a user experience, Windows operates. So the thing is, right, I've literally been setting up that PC with Ubuntu to do KVM pass through, and I picked Ubuntu 20.04 LTS, the long-term service, you know, the most stable build, but most recent. Yeah, so when I went to install it, it turns out that if you click the option that says auto download drivers, and then you click the option that says auto login, well, they don't go together, despite those being two very sensible options to pick if you're using NVIDIA graphics, and so I needed to reinstall the operating system to fix that problem because all of the terminal fixes that I used didn't work. I think maybe if I was a bit more proficient, I could have removed the third-party NVIDIA driver that was causing the problem, but the fact that I had to go into the terminal to work out why I couldn't boot is the reason why Linux isn't ready for mainstream yet, alright? Should have compiled the driver from some source. Yeah, I'll do that the next time that I install the operating system from scratch. VFIO QEMU KVM, yes, it is. So I'm doing IOMU pass-through with, I've got a 2080 Ti in the main and a 2060 secondary or for 4 pass-through. It's pretty much all set up. I'm just setting up the actual VM itself now, and then the reason that I'm doing that is, one, because I want to do it, I want to try it, I want to get the experience, but I also have a monitor from Gigabyte that has a KVM built into it. It's also not that much more expensive than the standard 4040p 144Hz IPS monitor that it's based on. And so the idea is that it could be the sort of perfect Linux monitor where I can, you could, have your single PC, you have your keyboard and mouse plugged into the monitor, and you have display and USB to host, and then you have a USB-C cable to your secondary graphics card, which since the RTX like 2060, 2070, 18, 2080 Ti all have the virtual link, the USB-C port that does display port and USB. I should be able to do KVM by just pressing a button and having it switch over. So that's the idea. Possibly. The reason I'm setting it up is because the monitor has the feature built in. So I kind of need a way to test it, and while I could use a laptop with USB-C output and have it how they kind of intended you to do it, my idea with covering the monitor is that it could be a very interesting solution for that niche, I suppose. So yeah, my computer might have a Navi 14 glitch on Linux. I mean, it's possible. I've heard that driver support on Linux for both NVIDIA and AMD isn't fantastic. I believe there are open source versions of the drivers which do help things, but yeah. Is it worth upgrading my RAM from 32 gigabytes, 3200 megahertz to 64? Lewis, sorry, can't read. Point is, it depends what you do. If you're using more than, or if you're using your 32 gigs of RAM, as much as you can, then yes, makes sense to upgrade. Otherwise, it's not like you don't really need to. I do have 64 gigs of RAM in my system, but that's because okay. So for whatever reason, maybe because I was talking about the RAM, Streamlabs OES just shut down. Like just straight dead. Like no warning, just I saw it disappear. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. God, I hate computers. Anyway, the answer is, depends what you do, bud. Oh, Christ. Yes, it shut down, I pressed it, I pressed start, it all worked again, for some reason. How am I? I am okay. I had a interesting week, some of which I probably don't need to share, and there's there's lots of work to do. I finished the work on the Azeron gamepad video. I had a call with Loop Deck. Actually, so this is one of the interesting ones. So while it's not plugged in right now, so one, they actually sent me, this is a newer version of the device. There you can see my face. So this is a newer version of the device that fixed a couple of the bugs that I was having. But also, I've actually had a couple of calls with them, basically to just give them feedback about what I think they should improve. And remarkably, they've listened. So they've already implemented a couple of features, and they're working on basically a redesign of the software to make it more user-friendly. And so that's kind of rare. Also, thank you very much. Oh, you gifted it. Well then, double thanks. Thank you very much indeed. I need to set some stuff up on Twitch for that. I've only been, well, apparently I've been an affiliate for 6 months, but it doesn't feel like it's been that long. So yeah, it's been interesting to actually have a company where I didn't rip on the product, but like I wasn't exactly a fan of it overall. But to then normally when that happens, and I say things that aren't entirely positive, the company responds by telling me to take the video down, like, wow, with their e-bike. But they were like, okay, yeah, makes sense. How can we improve? Can we have a call? Yeah, sure. Problem solved. So yeah, had that, and I've been doing an HP Omen 15 laptop. It's a sponsor video, but it's also the Ryzen one, and so I'm gonna do a full review on that after I've finished all the sponsor stuff. Help me set up my Coolmaster RGB fans. Have you plugged them in and screwed them into the case? Because that's pretty much all you need to do. Otherwise, if you're using the built-in controller, then you just press the buttons on the controller. And if you're not using the built-in controller, then you're probably using your motherboard. So just set it up on your motherboard. Thoughts on the 5800X if I want to upgrade from a 2700X? So in general, that should be a pretty nice upgrade. Obviously you're going same core count, but it's going to be a good bit faster, because from second to third gen there was a decent improvement, and then from third to fifth there's a decent improvement. So yeah, for sure. The only thing that I would say about that is obviously it's a fair bit of money, and so maybe take a look at benchmarks and see, because I think you can buy a 3900X for similar money to the 5800X. So see if the 3900 would be faster for your workloads. So if you're just gaming, or if you're gaming and say a bit of streaming on the side, then the 5800X is probably the better shout. But if you're doing more productivity heavy, CPU heavy stuff, then yeah, it's the 3900X might be a better shout. Installed the Ryzen chipset drivers, but Windows isn't showing the high performance preset. So Yash, what CPU do you have? Which CPU is it? And actually, which Windows version do you have? Like Windows Update version? 5600X. Yeah. So in that case, the answer is the Windows, the Ryzen, like high performance power plan or whatever it was called. Windows or Microsoft has rolled in all of the features that power plan had into the standard Windows high performance power plan. So while you have installed the chipset drivers, and that's great, that high performance preset thing is built into Windows now, so you don't need to worry about it. Also, the Windows task scheduler is now context aware, or CCX aware, so it knows to schedule tasks to specific cores in specific CCXs. Although that's not a problem with your CPU, because it still technically has CCXs, they're all unified instead. Hello, Kev, and Phil. The answer is no. How you doing, man? Should I buy the Gigabyte G27Q or the Acer VG270 UP? So I did a review of both, or at least I did a review of the Acer VG271P, which is the slightly newer version, and literally last week I did a video on the G27Q. Both are great. If you're going with the 270P, that one is the older model, so feel free to get the Gigabyte one instead, because that's much newer. But if you're going with the 271, then it's about even, so you can pick either, really. Hi, my i9 9900K is unstable with 3600 MHz RAM using XMP on my ASUS Code motherboard, even the latest BIOS. So it'll be a Z390 code board. It will be, what's it called? So the first thing I would check is temperatures. Then, come on, brain. Otherwise, it could just be a problem with the chip, the motherboard, or the RAM. In terms of like the memory controller failing in some way. Do you have any advice for cable management? No. Cable management. The answer is you need to take your time. You need to be willing to unroute every cable so that you can say truncate it nicely. I'm assuming we're talking about inside a PC. If you're talking about outside a PC, then all of the storage, mediums, the baskets that hang under the hang under your desk or attached to your wall. Yeah, Patrick's right. Velcro cable ties, they're fantastic. All of those sorts of things is better. What's the next upcoming soon at the wheel video? So I kind of do them basically at the weekend and then post them on Tuesday. So currently none. I do have some plans. I'd like to rent some cars, basically, spend some of my own money, and check out some reasonably new cars that are available relatively near me, which I think will probably happen as lockdown eases. The only problem I have with that is just space to film. Where I normally film is normally occupied during the week, which is why I normally film at the weekends. But then I'm going to rent a car, gets expensive at the weekends. So there's that. But otherwise, I want to do a first car buyer's guide type thing. And then probably some videos on Dan's car because it keeps breaking. That would be the 530D that I literally just did a review of, and I picked him up. What was it? A couple of days ago. There he goes. Yeah. Because it stranded him because the battery died. So yeah, that. I got an Noctua NHD 15 Chromax Black. Nice. Wanted to build with it, but the fan stuck over the RAM, couldn't extend the fan far enough because case wouldn't allow it. Should I change 140 to a 121? I don't see why not. Yeah. Oh, Mark. So what I meant to mention this last week but forgot. My intention is to do basically a sort of a small event with people like you who want to bring your cars up to, you know, have me look at them basically, to a track or a proving grounds testing course, filming studio type thing, and basically have a day with a closed course and a circuit to, you know, plod around in, film stuff, but then also, you know, like you get to drive your cars around a track basically, or, you know, closed course. The only problem with that is that it's ludicrously expensive. So Longcross Film Studios, which is just next to Guildford, and I've driven around there before. They quoted me, gosh, what was it? So if we wanted the entire course, the entire set, it would be £4,500 plus VAT per day, and that's during a weekday. If we wanted it at the weekends, it's £550 plus VAT per hour. Yeah, if we only wanted like smaller bits, it's a bit cheaper. It's like 200 to 400 plus VAT per hour. But yeah, it gets expensive. I also reached out to the Millbrook Proving Ground as well. They're gonna get back to me next week to talk about pricing. But yeah, just the problem is that it's gonna be horrendously expensive. So yeah. I'm trying to stream Warzone on PC, keeps lagging, stuttering. So here's one thing that I would recommend. Try disabling the NVIDIA overlays instant replays, because what I found is, especially if you're using the NVNC encoder, and sometimes even if you're not, OBS can't hook a game when the NVIDIA overlay is already hooking it, or it can, but it's kind of laggy as all hell. So if you disable that, then that might help you a bit, because I've had that before. The RGB is not working. I suppose the first question is it plugged in? I'll look into options too, can find something to work, or just a normal track day and everyone buys a ticket, or per lap. Yeah, possibly. It would depend on what's available, and because ideally we'd want to film, sort of be able to put a camera person sort of out on track, and that's normally not allowed on a normal track day, so we'd have to think about that one, but yeah, for sure. So the RGB is plugged in. So are you using the included little controller, or are you using, say, your motherboard instead? Is it worth getting a 5600 XT? It's on sale, currently using a 1650 Super. So yeah, like it's a great card. It's and you will get a significant performance uplift there for sure. So as long as it's a good price, go for it. You're using the controller? Cool. So the answer to that is the power plugged in, the SATA power connector? Do you know, that is one of the good things about having an estate, is that at some point we will be doing that. I mean, you know, not, you know, just like literally hang you out, but yeah. The other one, yeah, the controller could be broken as well. So if you can, do try, yeah, Patrick's right, and plug it into your motherboard directly, just to see if your motherboard has an RGB header, which it might not do, but it's worth a shot. I want to buy a new card for something like COD Warzone. I want new NVIDIA. Do you recommend 3070 or 3080? What resolution do you game at, Samuel? As always, if I miss any questions, feel free to post them again. Rad Zapper. So the you should definitely back up everything that you have on it where you can, and then yeah, go from there. Nice one, Mark. Me and Dan are considering that at some point in the next, well, probably next year actually. Just be if we're allowed to and all that jazz. But yeah, I mean, I know for sure that I want to go to the Nürburgring and do some laps there, and I think Dan wants to as well, so that would be good. 1080p. So in that case, if you're playing at 1080p, the 3070 is more than enough, even at, you know, ultra settings. Can we not go for business? Well, if I made videos about it, sure. We might have to bring some camera people though, and then it gets complicated. What do you think about the Corsair K68? Did I review that one? Is that the one that I literally reviewed like the other day? Oh no, I reviewed the K60. I think I have reviewed the K68 though. Hold on, let me find out by searching it. Why is it not showing my videos in the search bar on my channel? I guess I haven't, but let me look it up. Just oh, it's mechanical. Cherry, good. Reds, good. Looks fine. Apparently it's IP32 rated. Fair enough. Yeah, that's heinously expensive though. There are a lot of good keyboards for a lot less money, admittedly without the Corsair logo on them. But yeah. Do you know why Ethernet connection keeps disconnecting and I'm having to replug on an X570 Tomahawk? Remind me, does it use an Intel or a Realtek or a Killer NIC there? I've already offered my camera services for a business trip. My rates are £0 per hour plus lodging and nutrition. Nice, cool, good. Sold. YouTube is secretly telling Andy to be less narcissistic. Yep. You know me. Have you ever been to Nürburgring? I haven't. I'm only a wee lad. So yeah, I haven't been out there yet. But I definitely want to, and I've certainly done enough laps in simulator to you know, crash almost immediately. You know, it's like if I hadn't done laps on a race sim, then I wouldn't know the track at all and I'd be really cautious. But because I've done some laps, I'll be really, as you say, narcissistic and crash. Bathroom breaks would be nice too. No, it's an estate. You can just lie in the back. Bathroom breaks and racing? Aren't you supposed to do the train method? God damn it! Why did this derailed very quickly? Oh, so it uses a Realtek. Thank you. So double check that the drivers are installed. Otherwise, maybe check to make sure that it's shorted. It's not being shorted on, say, like the back of the motherboard. Make sure that when you there's nothing in the socket port itself. There's no dust that's in the connector that you're having to basically dislodge and relodge, kind of thing. Ben, I used to skateboard a tiny bit, but I'm more of a BMX and mountain bike guy. If it's doing that, it's probably shorted, compressed air, and if not, RMA. Yeah, check that there's nothing, in the way. 1080p on 27-inch is better for movies and games. Well, just like your username, I disagree. Lifetime experience you can take. Driving instructors for €49. They're very good and worth it, especially for first time. Also found the best restaurants, locations, and hotels in the area. Nice. Do I watch much car throttle stuff? I do, kind of. I'm not. I don't really like cringe humor. Like American sitcoms, not for me. But and so they practice that a bit. So with the Ethan doing repair videos, while it is funny to see an idiot do, what to someone like me feels very simple, it's a little, yeah. And so I, leave those. But yeah, they make some good stuff. Donut or car throttle? I want to say car throttle because, Britain or whatever, but I think Donut makes more interesting videos. Car was fun. That's fair, the podcasts are right though. Fair, I don't really do well with trying to pay attention to things for a long period of time, so podcasts aren't normally for me. The Mobo won't get an army if it's physical damage. Yeah, fair. What about Motor X? That was about the best thing. Motor X? Is that like an extreme show? Like stunt bikes? That's fun. I didn't watch it much. I don't really watch it much. Although I have done I just said that 4 times. I have done motocross. There is in Glasgow, just south of it, it's sort of northeast Kilbride. There is a indoor electric motocross track, and it's like go-karting. You just call up, you book a session, and it's like 20 quid for half an hour to, whiz around on some electric, there were the KTM e-bikes, and it was fantastic. It was like just so much fun, and considering that I ride a SV650S on the road normally, yeah, it's it was a very different experience, but very, very fun. And if you're ever in Glasgow area, definitely recommend it. Yes, feel free to join the Discord. The link is both with Ish and in the description of the video if you're watching on YouTube. When do you think the 6900 XT will be available in the UK? So I think the answer is you're probably looking at like 6 months time before meaningful stock is available. As with pretty much all of the other cards, because there's just no stock available right now, and any stock that becomes available will be sold out almost immediately. So yeah. And Mark, I'll check it out after the stream. And Patrick, I agree. 1440p is sweet. Will they let me race my Peugeot at the Nürburgring? My 3 cylinders and 1200cc might be a little overwhelming. Yeah, they actually will. It's called Touristenfahrten. It's so the thing about the Nürburgring is that it's technically a public road. It's a sort of closed road, and you can only get in and off at one point. But technically speaking, all of the normal road laws apply. There's just no speed limit, and it's a one-way system, that kind of thing. But basically, during Touristenfahrten, you can rock up. If you got a ticket, you just go to the gates. You put your ticket in the machine, or you scan your pass or whatever. The bar opens. and you drive you drive on, and you can go as slow as you like, you can go as fast as you like. Obviously, idiots like me in relatively fast cars will probably be annoyed if someone is, driving a BMW Isetta or a PLP 50 doing 15 miles an hour. But you can. That is legal. That's allowed. And yeah, so people drive around in the funniest stuff. It's amazing. You can race a bus around the Nordschleife. You can race anything. Yeah, I do like 13 my Seat. Nice. Oh, you actually got one. I forgot that. The last time I remember speaking about you getting a car, that you were looking to buy one. So I assume that means you bought one. Also, nice. Technically, public road, but your car insurance will not cover any damage. Yes, that is true. I think that you can technically get track day insurance that like you could purchase track day insurance, whatever. But yeah, if you like if you crash on the Nordschleife, it gets very expensive. Not only for whatever damage you do to your car, but the special recovery services that come out, the what you call it, the barrier repair. If you damage a barrier, it's like, I can't remember how much, it's like 100 or something euros per meter, and it's like if you damage just a single piece, you like, they only come in 4 meter pieces, and then if they need to repair one of the posts, then that's another like 1,000 euros. So yeah, it gets very expensive very quickly. Yeah, I will. I'll look to set up sort of Twitch a bit more properly, auto mod or auto bots and stuff that you can actually ask commands, all that sort of stuff. Before next week's stream, I can. I have a problem. I left my computer running with 2 monitors and I came back. They don't wake up anymore. When I test them, the GPU doesn't want to read DVI or HDMI ports. Okay, so the first question to ask is, have you hard reset the PC? Like, have you held the power button down until it turns off and then restarted it again? Otherwise, that sounds like a more serious failure. Yeah. Apparently, Argos Black Friday deal starts in 15 minutes. Fair. I will. I'll have a look after the stream. Is it true that IQ has a habit of being funny with PCs? I think it killed mine. I've had some kind of bugs with Corsair software over the years, including IQ, but I've never had it actively break anything. With that said, I haven't run IQ full time in quite a while. I do actually have Corsair products like that could use IQ in my PC, including the H100i Pro or whatever it is. But I don't care about the RGB, and so I don't care about installing IQ for it. Argos is owned by Sainsbury's. Interesting. I didn't know that. IQ is still buggy. Yeah, fair. Will the 3090 be enough for to play upcoming games at 1440p ultra settings and 165 Hz monitor? Yes, I would probably say that the 3080 would as well. Obviously, it depends what you mean by upcoming games, and if when you say ultra settings, if you mean RTX, like DirectX ray tracing enabled as well. If so, then it actually might not be, but sure. Adatrax, hello. I'm fine. My eye's bugging out a bit, but other than that, yeah. Need to do stage 1 before a track. Take the 155 limiter off. I've heard that it's kind of actually off from factory, but yeah, I think it it depends. But I'm considering it. Nice one, Absid. Glad that you found one that works for you. Where are you from? Scotland. I was looking at HBO and Argos, hoping it drops. Nice. I actually have the Omen 15 in the Ryzen laptop, and it's it's awesome. I'm surprised you actually haven't tested the 155 yet. Yeah, well, public roads, you're not allowed. And I believe that there is increased police presence on the roads at the moment. Yeah, so mine gets... I get 90 to 100 horsepower with a stage 1 remap. What did I miss about power supplies? I must have missed that. Wait, where is it? Okay, missed it. I was meant not on public roads. Yeah, obviously. Hello, Niels. As usual, if I missed any questions, feel free to post them again. I have a corrupted BIOS that flashed. That flashing from the backup chip doesn't fix. Shorting first and 6 pins method. Have you tried one? Have you ever tried one of the EEPROM flash BIOS USB programmer kits? Any tips? I have not actually. The last time that I ever had to try messing with a non-functioning BIOS was actually 2012 with the what was it? 990FX Crosshair 5 motherboard with AMD, and the BIOS that was sold on the board didn't support the FX 8120 that I had at the time, and so I had to take the chip out and have ASUS send me a replacement chip that fixed the problem. So I don't know. I wonder you like this. One of my friends from work actually got a 6800 on Tuesday this week. Nah, you're lying. That can't be happening. From eBar of all places, 1 day delivery. Apparently the last one. Nice. That's awesome. That's very rare. They can probably sell it for well more than they paid. I mean, they shouldn't, because scalpers are bad, but you know, opportunity, no. Can you explain the difference between processors and cores and clock speeds? Well, processor is the overarching term. Cores are the individual units that do the arithmetic that your computer needs to run. And the clock speed is how many operations each of those cores can do per second. So 5 gigahertz is 5 times 10 to the 6? No, times 10 to the 9. So 5 billion? Trillion? Billion operations per second. Nice one, Julian. Feel free to let us know how it works out. I'd definitely be interested to know. I looked out and got a 5800X at MSRP. Nice one. That is a miracle indeed. Do 1080p videos look great on 1440p monitor? Yeah, they actually do. Obviously, you know, native scaling and all that jazz, but yeah, like a fair number of videos that I watch on YouTube on my 1440p monitors are 1080p, full screen, looks great. Does the 360mm rad would a 360mm rad be enough to cool a CPU and GPU combined on one loop? It depends what CPU and GPU, right? So if you're talking about I don't know, 2060 and a 3600X, definitely. If you're talking about a Threadripper 3990WX and a 3090, no. Damn. You got the beans. How long will it take for 5600X to come back in stock? So what I read was Scan have a a page on their site that says each of the what you call it, each of the like which chips they're getting, how much stock they're getting per week, and I think they were getting like 20 per week or something like that. So I think it will depend on how many pre-orders there are and all that jazz, but probably a couple months, just like all the other stuff. Before they are in you know, like constant supply stock. Like you could just go to a website and buy one there and then. Planning my first build, so not sure where to go. I like PETG tubing. Would be a 5800X and a 3018 one loop. So in that case, it's probably fine. It will also depend if it's a 30mm or a 60mm. If it's a 60mm, yeah, it's gonna be alright. If it's a 30mm, might be a little close, but it should still run pretty well. PETG tubing is great. Hardline. I highly recommend, if you're doing hardline, buy a bending kit that includes the silicon that goes in the middle. You'll need a heat gun unless you're doing it fittings, just with fittings at the angles that you need. And take your time. Don't overheat it. Just, you know, heat it as much as you think you need and just slowly bend it. Make sure that you give extra heat to the outside, because the outside is the one that has to stretch to get around the curve. And yeah, you can bend it at a nice wide radius if you want a sort of safe bend. And make sure that when you cut it, you do clean the edges. And then make sure that it's all the way down in the compression fitting and tighten those things down. People should consider secondhand. Definitely, especially in the GPU market. The CPU one, it's slightly different because the performance level is quite different between the chips kind of thing. But yeah, on the GPU market, if you can buy a 1080 Ti or 1080 instead of a 2070, 2080, or pushing 3070 if you really want, yeah, go for it for sure. Which should I choose, AMD or Intel? So on the whole, right now AMD offers better options. So if you want the fastest CPU, like gaming, 1080p gaming, that is now a Ryzen CPU. So one of those. If you want productivity, then you're pretty much always going to get either the same cores or more cores available for your money, and potentially faster overall. So yeah, and also generally speaking, the AMD chips require a lot less power, have a lot less heat output, and have a better upgrade path to go with it. So yeah, right now, pretty much AMD. How do you know if parts are compatible? Yeah, PCPartPicker.com is a great place to start. No worries, Arctic CP. I'm more than happy. We do them every Thursday night at 8 p.m. UK time. So if you want to, tune back in next week and all that jazz, feel free to do so. Do you think the C49 RG90 for 750 is a good deal? I haven't tested it myself, but I believe so. Best air cooler or liquid cooler for long runtime? Air cooler. and Noctua NHD 15. Andrew, should I buy the VG248Q, which is IPS, or the VQ? Honestly, the Acer VG271UP or the Gigabyte G27Q are probably better options, and might even be cheaper. But otherwise, the IPS one is going to be a nicer experience for you if you're sticking with Asus. Worst case, we can have a TechteamGB meeting at the Nürburgring. Exactly. Problem solved. Yeah, the stand is naff. For sure. Yeah. Sam or Samuel, that kind of, so check the cable, check that happens on the same on a different display and or port, and then otherwise it could be just a broken unit you need to reply. What's your favorite thing, Greg's? I haven't had a Greg's in like ages. Well, actually, I had one with Dan, but the answer is cheese and bean melt. Is it cheese, bean, and sausage? No, that. DV sign. I think so. I think so. Mark. Kind of true, yeah. So just a quick announcement for everyone who's here. I'm doing a stream tomorrow night at 8 PM UK time, covering some Black Friday deals. So if you want to stick around for that, or you know check that out, feel free to do so. It's at this time, or it's an hour ago yesterday, tomorrow rather. So feel free to check back. I'm probably still going to be answering all your questions there anyway. But there will be, I'm going to be looking up some deals and all that sort of stuff for the people who are interested. So yeah, feel free to stick around for that. But otherwise, thank you very much for tuning in. Like I said, I'll see you tomorrow in another live stream, and I'll see you next week as always. And of course, videos on Monday and Wednesday too. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a good week. Feel free to check out all the links in the description if you want to support me and all that jazz. And you know, if you're buying stuff on like Amazon, there's affiliate links in the description you can check out. Feel free to do so. But yeah,